Alright, so this will be the people news, okay? I'm not an attorney, I'm not going to give legal advice. Why? Because I'm not an attorney. However, I just never look straight forward. I always look around me to be able to protect myself by any means necessary. And again, this could be my opinion, so I'm going to voice opinions. Not law, not legalese, just my opinion, okay? So, these people right here are creating things that makes it actually harder for us to get our rights, right? They're bypassing the buck. They don't want to be responsible, so they pass it to a corporation. Again, like paying child support, well, you're paying it to an agency, all right, that the state pays for, which when you try to tell them, well, no, you don't have no authority to take my money, and they say they do, but in all actuality, it's a corporation. They actually have zero authority. But because the state of Texas made them believe they do, then they do, right? So this, in fact, is kind of more of a case of transferring money into one agency, which is going to be called the TABC, okay? Which in Texas, that's kind of like a tobacco firearms section of law that runs all this, right? You got to go to TABC to get your alcohol license and all these kind of things, right? So somehow or another, CPS is going to be involved in this agency to distribute our tax dollars to how they see fit. But it goes in a little bit more details than that. Let's have a check out on this, okay?
All in favor of the resolution, say aye. Any opposed? Carries.
Okay, the next item has to do with...
By the way, some of this is going to be kind of a little spotty, so, you know, it is what it is.
With court-appointed counsel in CPS cases. So in CPS cases, the government often pays for lawyers for every parent and children. And so for the first time you heard about the report, which again I commend to you, it's an excellent report. This is the first time we've had data. After the legislature, we are now collecting data on how much counties are spending and how they're spending money on court-appointed counsel in CPS cases. So it's a lot of money, as everyone who works in county budgeting knows. So we've adopted the report. What the report goes through is there's just wide variation in how counties appoint lawyers, pay them, monitor them, and all of that. And so we talked about, well, what if is there a system for providing oversight and ensuring quality control and compliance with the law and all that? And the discussion was, rather than creating a brand new from scratch, agency or administrative arm that monitors this, we already have that existing in TIBC. Might it make sense to bring CPS cases under the same umbrella as what TIBC already does for criminal cases? And so our committee looked at that favorably and thought that sounded like a good idea. So
now, on my opinion, y'all, I'm a firm believer to keep everything in with regulations, right? Keep everything easy. Is if there's going to be an agency to watch over CPS thing, then there needs to be one agency, not with the agency has 1,200 things going on, right? How are you going to get remedy when you're talking to X amount of people that's got 1,200 other agencies that they're dealing with, and then you want to stick one other agency with another agency, and you wonder why you cannot get nothing accomplished. It's crap like this they do to us. It's crap like this.
So this one is just a Civil Justice Committee resolution that's in your stack. And so what we recommended is that the legislature establish a branch within TIBC to do those same oversight functions for CPS court-appointed counsel as they do for criminal defense court. So I will move that we adopt that resolution.
Second.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Discussion.
Now, just so you guys know, he's our chief judge right there. Okay, in Texas.
All in favor?
Discussion before we, the other thing was, there is federal social security money available, but it has to be only.
Listen to that, y'all. There is federal social security number available. Why do they want your social security number? Right? So you hear all these people talking about how social security ties into this and this and this and this and this. I'm not saying this. I'm showing you this. They brought it up. Not me. Okay? Not these other people that you're saying is conspiracy theories or anything like that. These people did it. They brought it up.
To each state's designated agency, which in Texas is the Department of Family
Each state. And now Texas.
Protective Services. So this federal reimbursement money can't be paid directly to the counties that are paying for the attorneys. It has to go through DFPS. And so I believe part of the recommendation as well is that we create some administrative support within TIDC to help get these contracts signed, process all the logistical.
Right there, people. Get these contracts signed. What did I say in the past, right? This is all by contract, right? These people right here are creating contracts against the will of the people, the mom and dads on CPS, just for instance, right? They're creating contracts behind their backs, and then we want CPS and get the parents to agree to their contracts. Excuse me. Same freaking thing when you're in the divorce court, right? This is the reason why child support agency. It's a contract, right? The 4D program. These people are signing a contract with the 4D program, the state of Texas is, and then the counties sign a contract with the state of Texas to get funding to violate your rights and try to get mom and dad to contract with the 4D. With the state of Texas, which goes into the 4D contract of the United States. So what you are doing is waiving your rights, entering a contract, not with the state of Texas, but also with the federal government. Okay? So you sign a contract with the county, the state, and the federal government, so waive all your rights, people. And these people are the ones who are doing it to you. My opinion. I'm not giving legal advice, okay? I'm not an attorney, y'all. And it's just my opinion.
Paperwork so that counties actually start receiving those funds.
Well, I know that we don't want to establish another agency or anything else, but what does this kind of do to TIDC in terms of its requirements for expanding staff? That's what we got an idea.
I can't remember if we have actual projections on dollar amounts, but obviously part of this would be extra funding and staff in TIDC to take on this new responsibility.
Yeah, it's okay. I can speak to that briefly. I mean, I think as long as we have, and Judge Keller and I have talked a little bit about this, I think if we have sufficient staff and funding to do it, I think that would work out. And we have about 12 other states we found across the United States that where sister commissions in those states handle these same responsibilities. And one of the ways we've kind of talked about this in a sense is, I think CPS is where indigent defense was really 20 years ago before TIDC. Really no state funding, no state oversight. We have policy monitors, fiscal monitors, data collection, all of that. So again, I think this
policy monitors, probably this, all that, right? Everything is by policy because you have no rights, right? You must follow our policies. Policies are our new constitution, y'all, by the way. It's our laws now, all right? Policies overridden. State laws, constitution, state constitution, federal constitution, statutes, rules, and regulations is overpowered all laws.
Staffing is going to be critical. The funding would be critical. Without that, I don't know that we really be in good shape to do that. But if we had those, at least on that, I can't speak for our board, but I can say on the staff side, we feel comfortable.
Jeff and I have talked about it, and I'm okay with this as it now stands, but I do want people to know that TIDC has not talked about it. They're aware of it, but they have not talked about it.
So I'm not asking you to look deep into your crystal ball, but can you give me some indication as to how much staff, and do you have any idea as to a dollar figure?
Sure. When David Slayton was here, it was 2 sessions ago, there was a bill by Senator Colforth that would have created basically a TIDC analog and doing the same thing. At that point, I think the discussion was something like 12 FTEs. I don't think that's what we're talking about, at least when I spoke with Judge Miskel about it. I think we were talking closer to 5, is my recollection. The total amount, if you look at indigent...
When you say FTE, you should be full-time.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Yeah, 5 full-time employees. When you look at the funding, if you look at indigent defense, collectively statewide, we spend just shy of $300 million a year. That's growing, but it's growing.
$300 million a year, people. All right, but the state of Texas makes $4.5 billion a year. Okay, but their bill is $300 million a year. So sit and think about it, right? Their net profit is $4 billion.
Something like this. CPS, we're talking about $65 million, so a much smaller amount collectively, but it's growing much more rapidly. I think really the counties, as we've heard from Jim Ellison and others, I think they'd be excited for the state to pay any part of that, really.
So is it's an additional expenditure, or is it transferring the expenditure from one area to TIDC?
So it would be additional funds to pay for CPS representations, my understanding.
Instead of the county paying for it. So
Additional funds to pay for CPS. Look, we need less, not more. I mean, they have their place, but their place is overwhelming violations of due process on parents and this, that, here, and there. Before we even get to figure all this mess out, we need to figure out what the parents' due process rights are first, before we even add more agencies and pay them more money, right? We need to figure out what the parents' due process is, because they don't have any.
Yeah, I think in the report what it showed was that so the state is the one filing these CPS cases in all these counties, and then counties have to file.
See, now we go with that, right? The states are the ones doing all these filings, and then they kind of hand it to the counties. So in essence, what they're saying is, even though the counties are saying this and the CPS, the states are ones actually saying, well, no, we're doing it, but we're giving kind of a leeway with the counties leading with it. And if you're trying to get remedy from the counties, you can't get it from counties because it's from the state, people. But we try to get it from the counties.
And the $66 million to pay for it in their local community, and every community has different availability of attorneys, resources to be able to handle these cases that end up getting filed in their county. So the general picture of how this would work was, one aspect of it is, rather than creating a duplicate administrative oversight, let's use what we already have. TIDC currently provides a variety of grants to counties to subsidize the criminal defense. And so borrow that concept as well and see if grants can be provided in a similar way to counties to subsidize the CPS expenditures, which are significant. And then
that way CPS can be lost with all the criminal things, right? And when you try to get remedy, they're just totally lost, and it's just harder on you.
Staff so instead of all new staff, it would just be add-on staff. So hopefully a smaller fiscal impact to do it under TIDC's wing, but they would be new staff for the new responsibilities. And then also hopefully the staff could be managing these contracts with DFPS to get, I think the report says up to $10 million back. So if counties are spending $66 million total, $10 million from the federal government is not everything, but that's 10 to 15%. I mean, that's a good help. So those ideas to our committee all made sense working together. That answer your question.
Any other discussion? All for the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Judge,
So all these people right here, just them very few people, made all these decisions behind your back, people. Just these few people, right? And now they're going to, all these people is going to spread out their paperwork to other agencies, get lost. These people right here that made these revolutions is not going to be held responsible. The other corporations are not going to be held responsible. And we the people do not get remedy and have such a hard time getting any type of remedy from the government. And part of it is due to these people right here. Now again, I'm not an attorney, I'm not giving legal advice, it's just my opinion, but I don't see any outtake, right, of where's the we the people's power? I don't see we the people in here voting for any of this. I don't see any paperwork being released to the public for us to vote on this. This is all behind closed doors. Of course, I'm watching the video, so it's kind of in public. But whatever, we're still not voting for this, y'all. Period. And then somehow or another, the legislatures are going to create laws against us from them that we never voted on. Just saying. This is We the People News. Bye, y'all.